Hello and welcome to Excellence Noir. Today we are going to talk about not one person, but a number that we will never know of Black children who were used to fight fires in the 1700s and 1800s. From the 1700s through the 1800s, Black children, many enslaved, others free, were forced or expected to confront one of the greatest dangers of early American city life: fire. Too young to vote, or to own property, or to claim freedom, they were nevertheless called upon to protect homes, businesses, churches, and entire communities. They carried heavy buckets, climbed burning structures, operated hand-pumped engines, and worked through smoke, heat, and collapsing walls. Who were these children? They were enslaved Black boys in southern cities like Charleston, Savannah, and Richmond. They were free Black children and teens in cities such as New Orleans and Philadelphia. They were boys from the ages of 8 to 17, though exact ages were rarely recorded. Question is, why were they used? This is my opinion, that they felt like the children were expendable. Also, there were no child labor laws. These depended on enslaved or marginalized populations to protect property, again because of feeling like they were disposable. In Charleston, many were city-owned enslaved children, and what they mean by city-owned was that the children were forced into fire service under threat of punishment. In New Orleans, Black children, both enslaved and free, were legally required to assist as part of civic duty, often drawing water from the Mississippi River. Here's a story, it's a fictional story of a young child named Isaac who takes you into his life as a quote-unquote fire boy. The story takes place in Charleston, South Carolina in the early 1800s. The bells at St. Michael's rang hard and fast, cutting through the damp night air. Isaac was already awake. Fires never waited for daylight in Charleston. Too many wooden houses, too close together, too much tar and pitch from the docks. He was 13 and listed in the city books as the engine boy. When the bell rang, he ran. Bare feet slapped against the packed dirt streets as he joined the others, Black boys and men, moving towards the glow rising near East Bay Street. Someone shoved a leather bucket into his hands, and someone else pressed a ladder past his shoulder. "Engine 2 needs water," a white fire warden shouted. Isaac took his place in the bucket line, stretching from the nearest well. The iron bucket was heavy, even before it was full. He passed it forward. Another came back, then another. Over and over. Smoke burned his eyes. Sparks landed on his shirt, leaving small holes that smoked before going dark. He kept his head down. He had learned early that looking around was seen as slowing down. Near the fire engine, older men worked the hand pump, their arms rising and falling like pistons. Isaac had practiced on that engine since he was small, first carrying water, then learning how to brace his feet so the pump didn't throw him backward. He remembered the day the city man pointed at him and said, "That boy's strong enough now." Strong enough meant responsible. Strong enough meant punished if the fire spread. As the flames climbed, a wall collapsed. The heat pushed them back. Someone yelled for hooks. Isaac grabbed one nearly as tall as he was and dragged it forward. The metal burned his palms through the handle. "Pull it down," the warden yelled. Isaac leaned his weight into the hook. The wall came apart in sparks and ash. By the time the sky lightened, the fire was finally beaten down. The engine slowed. The bell stopped ringing. Isaac's arms shook as he sat on the curb near the engine house. His hands were blistered. His throat tasted like smoke and iron. A city clerk stood nearby, scratching notes into a ledger. Isaac watched him write. He knew what the page would say. Fire attended. Engines deployed. Negro boys assisted. No names. The clerk closed the book and walked away. Isaac picked up his bucket and followed the others back towards the quarters. The street were quiet again. The city still stood. He had helped save it. And tomorrow, if the bell rang again, he would run. And that's the end of the story. And that gives you a glimpse into what these young boys had to endure. Hats off to the children whose sacrifices were rarely acknowledged, yet their labor helped save cities like Charleston and New Orleans from destruction. These children were among Americans' earliest first responders. Some were injured. Some lost their lives. All risked everything in service of places that denied them safety, recognition, and dignity. To remember them is to tell the truth about how America was built and to honor the courage of children who stood against the flames when the city called. Today we acknowledge the brave children that history refused to remember. And thank you so much for watching.